Hello, I'm Wario here from the likes of the Maxi Toys videos and oh wait, hold on, that was the wrong line. Excuse me. Hey, what is up ladies and gentlemen? Oh yeah, because I'm actually going to be wearing Wario's costume for now. So anyways though, that's specifically the reason why I accidentally just said Wario's name, but I digress. So anyways though, hey, what is up ladies and gentlemen? I am Mario here once again, and I'm back for some more yet again for the likes of the Maxi Toys videos of course. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to my Let's Play of Super Mario Odyssey for the Nintendo Switch. So last time we actually did manage to able to, you know, continue exploring through the rest of the forms of the Cap Kingdom and able to actually finish up entirely in the Cap Kingdom, basically like, you know, grabbing every single regional coins, and especially notable with collecting every single Power Moons. See, Fernando, since we've actually got all of them, that way we can able to actually just to complete that kingdom entirely. So, yeah, today for this episode is the fact that we're about to be able to return back to the forms of Cascade Kingdom, and able to actually just hopefully get ourselves the final 4 regional coins, and especially notable that we can, you know, once again manage to able to achieve ourselves some more Power Moons along the way. See, Fernando, that way we could, I would say we haven't got that long until whenever we're able to finish up with Cascade Kingdom fundamentally, and even then though, that because of how the fact that, well, we're eventually going to be able to actually just to get to the actual Moon Rock or something like that. But either way though, we'll find things out during that time. But first, let's head over to that specific warp painting that actually leads us to the forms of, as you can clearly tell, Bowser's Kingdom. See, Fernando, because we didn't do that at the earliest point as possible, just because, well, we haven't got to that point throughout to the very beginning of the game. So as a result, I think it only happens in the forms of my files sometimes. I'm not sure about someone else's profiles whenever the first time they've played a game, but I'm pretty sure enough it might be sometimes leads you to the forms of the exact same route as each other or something like that, but I digress. But every now and then, that I don't have to worry about the forms of like traversing through Bowser's Kingdom most of the time after that, you know, just that one singular Power Moon we can only achieve it from. Because now that since that, as you can tell by the forms of that Power Moon icon, being by the forms of multicolored, meaning that we can able to actually pick up as many of those Power Moons as possible now. See, Fernando, no need to able to, again, backtrack between those different kingdoms or what have you, especially by the forms of those, well, you still need to able to wait for some loading screens every once in a while, but apart from that though, not much else to really say about this here, so even then, yeah, that's as far as I can say. So, yeah, it's been a really long while since I actually coming back into this, ever since at the very beginning of January, just because, well, obviously that Piglet has been, recently almost gonna be concluded by the forms of the first half of Super Mario Galaxy Let's Play, or in this case, fundamentally, he almost pretty much gonna be done by the forms of Super Mario Galaxy playthrough of the entirety of the game, but either way though, I'm sure enough that he will mention about more details onto that later, just because, well, at the moment, he's gonna take a break from that for now, so that he asked me to able to actually get back into this, and I was like, okay, sounds like a good deal for me. And as a result, though, I seem to finally come back to this. See, Fernando, that's because of how the fact that, well, we really want to get these Let's Plays done before the forms of later portions of 2019 will be on its horizon, with not only for the sake of new Let's Plays, but it's also by the forms of redo Let's Plays as well. So naturally I could able to actually accept this. See, Fernando, and also that could be same applies by the forms of next year of 2020, that we might actually do a different system, because either way, we will mention about that until at the very end of 2019, even though it might be a little bit too early to predict right now, just because of how the fact that once again we need to focusing on multitude of Let's Plays. Well, first of all, we've got ourselves Princess Peach and Tiara here. Be careful you don't get so entranced by the big waterfall that you fall. I used to come here a lot to play when I was little. A Power Moon fell over the waterfall, but don't worry, it seems fine. Checking the actual Power Moon condition there, Peach, to see if it's pristine. But anyway, so yeah, that's as far as I can say. come to think of it, I'd like to see those big ruins in the desert again. So this means that we might actually see Peach on the forms of the Sand Kingdom next. See, Fernando, that's because, you know, get it? By the forms of that hint. See, Fernando, we'll get to that during the likes of the next video, because either way, though, that's besides the point. See, Fernando, there's the moon rock here. And once again, we did manage to activate it, so that means we're able to actually get even more power moons to collect. So even then, that makes it obvious. But yeah, you get the idea for this point. So even then, let's get to it. So, yeah, there's quite a lot of things that's worth mentioning for this time around, though, because you know how the fact that Piglet was so impatient by the forms of back in during the likes of in a few parts ago, due to the forms of like, you know, the Super Mario Galaxy redo Let's Play at the moment, especially noticeable by the forms of Blossom that she was also impatient, and it looks like, yeah, I think I accidentally missed something. Thank you, Cappy, for reminding me. And as a result, though, the actual regional coins is going to be inside in this section. See, Fernando, that we're going to have to figure out how we can able to get the last 4 of those regional coins. And then once we're done with those, or in this case, whenever we actually done collecting these, then I'm sure enough we can able to actually just go ahead and spend quite a few regional coins from here. So even then, that way we could able to conclude this kingdom. So even then, there's not much else to really talk about for this at this point, other than the fact that, well, it's about time to able to actually discuss on something new here. Stuff like, for instance, by the forms of, let's just get into the forms of a shorter point first. First of all, I actually did manage to decide to order myself another Sega Saturn game, but this time around though is actually Nights into Dreams, even though, technically speaking, we've already technically got that game on the PlayStation 3 download, and you know how the fact about that, just because, I'm pretty sure enough that Piglet and Mickey Mouse have done this Let's Play before, back in 2016, even though I don't know exactly who might have done it, by the forms of the actual toys department of our channel. And, while Blossom still need to get back into Night's Journey of Dreams now, just because, since then, that, she's now recently finished up with, you know, New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe for the Nintendo Switch Let's Play. See, Fernando, that's the only thing that she needs to concentrate on this point right about now. But even then, because of that, though, actually kind of think about it, between, you know, 3 Let's Plays currently at the moment, which there are, you know, Pac-Man World, because definitely need to still get back into that game, and especially noticeable with the forms of Splatoon, because, both Blossom, Buttercup, and Bubbles still need to get back into that game before we jump into Splatoon 2. Well, it wasn't until when we get to 2020 or some time, but either way though, that's only because, you know, the Wii U is currently corrupted with save data at the moment, so even then though, that's because, you know how it is for the most part though, because the Wii U is pretty much dead at this rate. So even then though, yeah, to get the picture for this point. So even then though, and if you couldn't tell already, this is actually my post-commentary right there, just because, well, kind of thing about it is that most of these, Moonrock missions are very self-explanatory. For those of you ever interested with this particular stuff in mind, but either way though, that's only because I most likely concentrate onto that specific stuff at the time, and as a result though, then, you know, you get the idea for this point. And by the way, that we actually entering this particular secret obstacles right there, and as far as I can tell, that we need to use the, or in this case, we need to utilize, whoa, ah, that was my fault. Whoops. Hey, that was a bad start. Oh well. Actually, this is not the post-commentary, actually, because I'm usually just managed to able to go for a regular commentary, so even then I was one of pointing out. So, sorry for being confusing, but either way though, that's because of how the fact there's been quite a long while since actually now finally coming back into this game, because, well, you know, busy with Kingdom Hearts 3, and especially noticeable with the forms of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate now, just because, either way, I'm actually at almost at the halfway point in World of Light mode at my own time. Even then though, speaking of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, that we're originally trying to able to do that Let's Play at some point in this year, specifically by the forms of the 20th anniversary of the actual celebration for the original Super Smash Bros. Game from the original N64. But the thing is the fact that Smash Bros. Ultimate Let's Play is going to be delayed next year, just because of how the fact that we need to most likely concentrate on other titles at the moment, when it comes to Let's Plays in general. So even then, I do apologize for able to— No! Wait! Oh, no! Oh, I didn't make it. Oh, jeez, that was the most nerve-wracking experience I've ever had in my life. Oh well, we'll try again. Hopefully though, that the actual obstacle course itself doesn't take nearly as long though, just because, well, the actual length of itself doesn't take nearly as long to me. But I digress. Yeah, back into what I was saying, by the forms of Night into Dreams, you know, Night into Dreams Sega Saturn version I just managed to order is because, well, you know, I'm actually very curious to able to actually just to try out, Nights into Dreams series again, after the forms of, you know— oh my god, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, yes, alright, second time's a charm, alright, across the ghostly bridges, yeah, sometimes this obstacle can get pretty tricky sometimes, well, unless if you do some speedrunning tactics, like, you know, I keep on doing that most of the time, so that will be generally a bad idea if you keep on doing that particular technique, unless if you're skillful enough, then you could potentially try to able to work it out. But anyway though, yeah, that's it for that. And let's just get on to the forms of the big stuff of how this usually happens in during the likes of in not just by the forms of today, because this was originally going to be uploaded yesterday by the forms of the exact same day as Valentine's Day yesterday, but I was busy, went out with Princess Peach, and I'm sure enough that Luigi was also hanging around with Daisy that time. So even then though, that we are really busy during the likes of yesterday due to that special loving day. And as a result though, that this was now going to be uploaded, which is right about now. Today was actually forms of the Friday the 15th of February. So even then though, we're actually in the halfway point of February already. So even then though, kind of thinking about it though, it might be— actually, kind of thinking about it, I believe that the first ever part of this particular Let's Play, as far as so far anyway, is actually almost become a year old now, because either way, because I actually did manage to able to start this Let's Play off from the very beginning anyway, in the forms of at some point at the very beginning of 2018, but the game itself is really long in comparison to the forms of any other 3D Mario games at this rate, including by the forms of Super Mario Sunshine, and especially noticeable with other 3D Mario titles as well, but either way though, that one might be the case. So, anyways though, that's pretty interesting, but I digress. Let's get to the forms of the biggest discussion of them all, alongside with the next video, and during— not tomorrow though, just because of how the fact that I'll mention about that briefly right about now. Tomorrow is going to be our special celebration for our YouTube channel, because if you couldn't tell already, it's going to be our 8-year anniversary of our YouTube channels. So, yeah, it's been 8 years, well, until tomorrow anyway. That's, you know, we're still holding up for this channel for about 8 years since 2011. Even though, generally speaking, that any forms of, like, you know, being created by when it comes to that specific situation. So even then though, that's because, you know, when the channel's first existence, then, you know, if you couldn't tell by the forms of the 16th of February, that with the date created as symbolization, this actually represents the actual, like, the first existence of our channel. So, yeah, to get the idea. So even then though, yeah. And, yeah, let's just get to the forms of the actual, big part of the actual discussion for today, alongside with the forms of at some point in Sunday, that, we're actually getting to the forms of the Nintendo Direct, you know, discussion, because either way, that you remember by the forms of about 2 days ago, that, Piglet has recently mentioned about that, and during the likes of his Let's Play of, Super Mario Galaxy recently. So now it's about time to able to actually discuss upon new things they actually did show off. Specifically on the most recent Nintendo Direct and during the likes of about, you know, 2 days ago. So even then though, first of all, they actually did announce, and yes, it's most likely focusing on Nintendo Switch rather than Nintendo 3DS, because I'm sure enough that the actual selling points with the 3DS nowadays is going to be falling through the actual abyss. Well, either way though, at least it all depends though, really, because either way though, as far as I can tell, is that most of these ports on the 3DS nowadays is going to be selling pretty poorly, because either way, because, you know, because of how the fact that no one seemed to able to actually just to play 3DSs nowadays, because they now move it on to Nintendo Switch now, just because it makes it obvious, because Nintendo Switch is doing super well at this point, even for almost 2 years. Even then though, that's only because of how the fact that, well, I can imagine of how the fact that the actual system itself, with the, you know, Nintendo Switch, is doing so good. But either way though, that is usually amazing, kind of think about it. But I digress. When it comes to the first announcement, when it comes to the forms of the most recent Nintendo Direct, oh wow, that was my fault. Whoops. I did it again. I'm being so hasty again. But again, it's been a really long while since actually coming back to this, so I must admit though, I do apologize for that. So, anyways though, as far as whatever I think about the forms of this particular Direct, it's okay. I mean, nothing outstanding to me though, unless there are some very, very good highlights. I'm gonna have to point things out right away. And because of that though, I'll actually mention about the forms of, you know, some good parts here and there. Because there was actually, not only by the forms of the beginning parts that really surprised me, but also the very end of the Direct itself does also surprise me. But either way though, let's get to the very beginning of the forms of the most recent Directs that we've actually first announced. First of all, is the announcement of a sequel to Super Mario Maker, meaning Super Mario Maker 2, coming to the Nintendo Switch, and I was like, yes, about time to be able to actually get ourselves a sequel to the forms of... Oops, I did that. I hate some jumps like that sometimes, as you can see right there, just because it's really hard to judge the actual distance sometimes. Even then though, because as you can see right there, we have to rely on these little question mark hat cloud platforms activating. So even then though, that's because, well, there's going to be a lot of drown over moments here and there. So hopefully I might as well able to just bypassing it completely. So anyways though, yeah, with this Super Mario Maker 2 coming to the Nintendo Switch, and I was like, I'm very hyped for it, and it's about time to able to announce that, just because, well, we haven't had a new Mario Maker game since the Nintendo Wii U game on 2015, and 2016 for the 3DS ports, which the 3DS version is alright, but not the best version of the game, because I think that most people think that the Wii U version is definitely superior, just because, you know, more features here and there, even though despite the fact that the Miiverse service has been, you know, completely down, but either way though, let's just go ahead and... Are you for real? These cloud platforms just become solid. Oh, jeez. Oh, having really bad luck for this point today, so even then, that's why, yeah, it's buddy forms of, like, do not play this for a while, so, yeah, I must admit though, I still apologize for that, so... Anyways though, with the Super Mario Maker 2 game, that not only does it able to contain the exact same features as it did from the original Mario Maker from the Wii U game, like, you know, you still have the game styles from Mario Bros. 1, Mario Bros. 3, and Super Mario World, and of course New Super Mario Bros. U, but also we now actually have the 5th game mode, which is essentially, or in this case, you know, the 5th Mario style, which is apparently Super Mario 3D World, which, first of all, is kind of confusing, but apart from that, it's kind of weird, because either way though, I believe it's going to go into 2.5D, because of how the fact that, well, it usually represents most of the obstacles in 3D, but I'm guessing it plays like a 2D plane, you know, just like in other games, like Sonic the Hedgehog 4 Episode 2, also done that as well, like the 3D backdrop and everything like that, which is, you know, kind of like the same thing from Super Mario Maker 2 with the 3D world, you know, aesthetic. And also not to mention that finally the slopes have been appeared. And even then though, that makes it so much more convenient, because now we can able to deal with that, specifically if we able to recreate let's just say Green Hill Zone from Sonic the Hedgehog or something like that, I mean, that would be very cool, but either way though, I don't know if we can able to create a loop-to-loop or anything like that, so yeah, I get the idea for this point. So, anyways though, and also they actually add in new course themes, such as snow, desert, and I believe jungle as well, and yeah, I'm very glad they actually just able to actually announce there's going to be some more level themes, like, you know, snow, desert, and I believe beach and forest, as far as I'm concerned, which is really good, because either way though, that, well, even then though, well, it still has like airship level themes, and especially noticeable with the ghost house themes every once in a while, so expecting so that, you know, everything is just slightly similar to the forms of, well, the original Mario Maker game. But the only thing I'm not sure of though is the fact that I'm pretty sure that Nintendo Switch will actually not utilize the stylus controls this time around though, unlike any forms of how it does it on the Wii U installment, and especially noticeable with the 3DS version. But I'm guessing we need to utilize the actual Joy-Con controllers or something like that now, so even then though, that way we could able to actually like switch any of the catalogs of what's any kind of obstacles or items you're going to be placing onto, but even then though, that's as far as I can say about it. And I believe that, if I'm may be wrong, but I'm guessing it might actually have like not one, but I'm guessing we might actually come across into 4 playable characters or something like that, that by the forms of that specific hint of the official art, even though that game wasn't going to be released until, yes, because it does have the release dates for Super Mario Maker 2, which should be at some point in June this year, which I think this might be a perfect opportunity to show that before, you know, when the E3 2019 presentation is going to be up. So even though they might actually show some more stuff about Super Mario Maker 2 that time. So even though that might be considered to be possibilities here. And another thing is worth mentioning though is obviously they have like Luigi, Blue Toad, and Toadette on the forms of the actual official artwork of you know, Super Mario Maker 2. And if I may be mistaken, it might actually represent 4 playable characters, just like the ones that how it did on New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe, although except the fact that Nabbit wasn't going to be a playable character after all, because, well, it was able to be incredibly game-breaking if you manage to use him at the entire purpose. So, I guess that makes it sense, because either way though, Nabbit is essentially a broken character, because, you know, he just breaks the challenge, and you know the rest. And, that's as far as I can say with Super Mario Maker 2. I'm very, very happy that that is existence, and even then, I should probably point this out. I probably should able to go back into Mario Maker again on my Nintendo Wii U at the moment, even though it might be a little bit more redundant at this point right about now, because when Super Mario Maker 2 was going to be released on that time, it might actually be a little bit more outdated for this point. Well, it's nothing awful or anything, it's just that it's a very unique concept about the fact that you can able to create your own courses on the 2D Mario game, which is, it makes a dream come true, but even then though, that's because, you know, you have to create your own levels and you can go for it. And even then though, I'm really looking forward to whenever I play Super Mario Maker 2. In fact, I might actually play that most of the time. Even then though, there might be some occasional, like, I don't know what game modes they're going to be featuring other than the edited mode, which I'm sure enough if the edited mode is still a thing. But even then though, let's just hope if there are other modes that it needs to be mentioning. Well, until whenever we're in E3 this year is going to be a horizon. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to Super Mario Maker 2. So even then though, it's about freaking time. And another thing they actually did announce, and that is the forms of some DLCs they're going to be packed in with the forms of Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, specifically on the Nintendo Switch version, because obviously the 3DS is nowhere to be seen with the forms of news and updates and everything, so it's specifically only for the Switch only. And because of that though, not only does it contain one part of that specific DLC that has been updated, but also, get this, we got downloadable content courses, which I'll explain about the free update, which I'm presuming it did actually release recently, back in during the likes of event around the same day after the presentation's been finished. And as a result though, the first thing they actually show off is of course another option, which is essentially, well, since the Switch version does have 2-player aspect, but now they have another option to able to participate with 2-player mode, and that you can able to take control of the blue Captain Toad, or in this case, Captain Blue Toad. So, yeah, generally you can able to actually bring us double gang of Toads throughout the entire adventure. So yeah, it's a pretty interesting thing, and I believe that when we discuss upon the forms of the DLC courses, which I'll mention about that right about now, yes, they actually include the special episode courses, which I don't know exactly how much levels they're going to be contained, but I'm sure enough I can able to actually be looking forward to that. In fact, I believe that Piglet has been completely done with that Let's Play for the time, and I'm guessing he might as well come back into this before whenever he gets this DLC packs all set, which, fundamentally, that might be true. And as far as the release date of the Captain Toad Treasure Tracker Switch DLC is concerned, well, the free update is already there from the start, and as a result though, yeah, you can able to play it just as that. And as far as DLC courses are concerned, well, they're going to be releasing it at some point next month. So even then though, that's not long for this point. So, and as far as I remember correctly, that the price point of the DLC courses is going to be not much, but the forms of like £5.49, or in this case, I would say $7 in the US countries, but even then I haven't really exactly looked upon price tags for the United States of the America prices, so even then that's as far as I can go for this point. But I digress. So I'm really looking forward to try out some DLC courses for Captain Toad Treasure Tracker for the Nintendo Switch to see how these new stages actually plays out, and that's as far as I can go. And also another thing they've actually mentioned is of course a new version update for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, and that is the forms of version 3.0. And I'm sorry to say that I was really excited by the forms of like they're going to be revealing a Joker gameplay from Persona 5, but somehow they've only just dropped him in there. Well, he will be still there, but all he does is just basically he decides to drop in and then shows the actual character model, and that's pretty much it. But until when it gets to April this year, that we've only got about, I would say about 2 months time, then that way we can able to finally test out Joker from Persona 5, which is essentially the first DLC character. And as for everything else though, it's pretty much top secret at the moment, just because, well, they need to able to wait until when it gets to at some point in April or something. And finally, by the forms of that though, the Amiibo collections they actually did manage to get ourselves updated with. So even then though, that is what I can say about this point, and I'm afraid to say guys, I'm pretty much running out of time by the forms of discussing on other things, but don't worry, until when we get to the forms of the next part of this Let's Play, I was able to mention about the forms of more stuff of how, you know, Nintendo Direct actually reveals, so don't worry, we'll get to that. So, anyways though, as you can see folks, we actually did manage to completely fully done with the forms of the Cascade Kingdom. So we've got ourselves all 40 of those Power Moons, in addition with 50 of those regional coins. And in addition with that, I did manage to able to double check on those other pages like capture lists, and especially noticeable with the souvenir list, and especially noticeable with, of course, the music list. So even then though, that we'll mention more about that as soon as we proceed to this game. So even then though, yeah, that's pretty much it for Cascade Kingdom. So I guess we're not going to go back in there anytime soon until whenever we show off the actual like DLC minigame that we can show off, well, after we able to 100% for everything in this game first. So that's it for that. So let's just say 2 kingdoms has been fully completely done. And now let's move on to, of course, returning back to the Sand Kingdom. But of course I'll save that for the next video because, well, I just don't want to spend too long by the forms of not only 1 but 2 kingdoms throughout the same video. So, of course Cappy will say the exact same thing, but either way though, you know, the moon rock is going to be there, so again, nothing too much to say. But before we end things off, let's just go ahead and change the different costume, so that way we could able to dress up as, let's fit the tone through very quickly. We're actually going to be going through the Waluigi costumes, so yeah, definitely going to accept that. Shame he doesn't got himself the forms of his treatments though, when it comes to like have his own game, or especially noticeable with joining the character roster in Smash Bros. Ultimate, which I've still very upsetting though, but either way though, because he's once again is his trophy, so oh well. So, join me next time on Let's Play Super Mario Odyssey, is the fact that we're about to be exploring through the Sand Kingdom to not only get ourselves the final 10 regional coins, but also get the rest of those power moons at the same time. So, yeah, not much else to really say about this here. So yeah, see you guys next time for that. Later, fellas.